gonna start from the top. What I want to do is give them ESCO through, that's what I'm referring to you as throughout the interview, ESCO.
All right.
That's what we call it in the street.
Okay.
What I want to do is give a little insight on, you know, a hustler, drug addiction, hustlers that encounter, you know, addiction during the course of their career, incarceration, of course, and religion.
Okay.
So, first off, how about you introduce yourself? You can just introduce yourself as ESCO. That'd be cool for me and shit.
Age ESCO, I'm gonna say that's cool.
Yeah, tell me where you're from and shit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, what's going on? It's Age ESCO, Erie, Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, man. You gotta give me a test, bro.
Yeah, you good. Why don't you let's go from the top. Why don't you tell these people your earliest recollection of encountering cocaine?
Okay. Yeah, my first recollection, you know, introduction to cocaine was from my you know, the household, you know what I'm saying? My dad, and you know, I come from a good family, you know what I mean? Middle class family, mom and dad married, both got jobs. Dad worked for the Erie School District, mom worked for Potential Life Insurance, nice neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Erie, PA, no doubt. First time I got familiar with drugs was, I used to see different behaviors in my dad, such as not coming home at night, being gone, a lot of arguments due to this drug addiction, just a lot of stuff that as I grew older, I start to you know, understand what was going on. And then further than that, I used to go to my grandmother's house, which was in a different neighborhood than what I grew up in, you know what I'm saying? So I seen both sides, you know what I mean?
Explain the neighborhood that you would visit, that your grandmother lived in, where they was from, and the differences between where you was coming from to what you was coming to encounter.
Okay, well, as far as my grandmother house, Erie, Pennsylvania, like I said, 23rd and German, between German and Holland, 2618, never forget it. You know what I'm saying? If compared to where I lived at, you know, with my mother and father, you would say, you know, ghetto, you know what I mean? Strictly hood, you know what I mean? A lot of fights, gunshots, you know, stuff like that. It was just a better look. I used to love it more than I liked my home life. It was more alive per se, you know what I'm saying?
So it was the hood.
The hood, definitely.
Your grandmother lived in the hood.
Definitely.
Okay.
I can get away with more stuff in the hood with my grandmother than I could get away with when I was at home with my mother and father. So on the weekends, I would go there. You know, I had two lifestyles,
right?
Basically. You know, I knew how to adjust to when I'm at home. I knew how to, you know, perform and behave a certain way as to when I went down to my grandmother's house. So I got to stay out later at my grandmother's house. I could stay out. I used to roll with my uncles,
Right.
his friends. So a lot of things I've seen at a younger age.
Did you recall, what did you want to be growing up? Because most of us, I didn't. I had no plans on being a drug dealer or nothing like that. What did you want to be initially?
I wanted to play sports. I wanted to play football. I wanted to wrestle. Those are things I did in my casual time, you know, my off time, or, you know, around my parents. But then I had another lifestyle. I had an alter ego. When I got to the hood, I wanted to be and emulate what my uncles were, you know what I'm saying, with his friends. In other words, a drug dealer, a street hustler, you know, the fly clothes, the females, the sneakers, the whole culture, period.
Right. Your family, y'all originally from North Philadelphia, right?
For sure.
North Philly, okay.
16th and Susquehanna.
Susquehanna?
Yep.
All right. Your grandfather was a professional boxer.
Yeah, Gene Turan.
Gene Turan.
Yeah, straight out of North Philadelphia. Gangster back in his days, you know what I'm saying? But that came to a halt when he was in a bank robbery. He robbed the bank. Did a little time, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, met my grandmother. And that's when my mother and her siblings was born, and some way, somehow, they migrated up to Erie.
So your grandmother from Philly too?
Yeah, no. My grandmother's from North Carolina.
Okay.
North Carolina. Windsor, North Carolina.
Windsor, North Carolina.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all made y'all journey up here to Erie, Pennsylvania from Philadelphia.
Facts.
Growing up, I must say that your family stood out. I remember being a kid going to the Miss Tawny pageant. That was a beauty pageant that Esco's family introduced to the community. I remember going to the beauty pageant and seeing y'all in tuxedos and shit like that, escorting the girls and shit. I really wanted to be a part of that. And I remember my father introducing me to Gene Turan and telling me how much influence he had on my father's life. My father actually trained under Gene Turan. Gene used to train people at the Booker T. Washington Center and shit like that. So I'm very, very familiar with your family. I can't stress enough that your family was different. Let's start by talking about your Uncle Johnny.
Oh, okay, my Uncle Johnny. We would would label him as a player, as he used to call himself, a player from the Himalaya.
Yeah.
Mean coach, the long stretch Lincolns,
Gators.
the Gators, the trench coach,
Yeah.
P coach, and all that. Just a fly guy, man. Suits like every day. It like his lifestyle was competition of fashion on an everyday basis.
He was one of the first guys that I encountered, older guys, that didn't turn it off.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas my father was a hustler and a player in the street. My father also had a job. You'll see him with a hard hat on during certain times of the week and shit, and work boots and shit like that. And he came home, put that down, and then transformed into the lifestyle and shit.
Fair.
But yeah, I remember whenever I encountered your Uncle Johnny, man, he just had this magical aura about him. Even through addiction, when he he stumbled and went through addiction, he still was electrifying. Could you tell me what type of impact Johnny had on your life?
Just honor, man. Just seeing how he dressed, his walk, his talk was something that I wanted to, inspire me a lot. A lot of importance with a lot of things, the way he moved, the way he dressed, you know what I'm saying? His demeanor, his character spoke volumes, you know what I'm saying? And so with that, I always wanted to be a part of it. I always kept that in the back of my head, along with the other things. And so by the things I took from him and my other uncles and a lot of stuff I seen, I took bits and pieces. So that's what created me to what I am, gave me my formula.
Okay. Criminally, what would you say was your coming out party? Because I encountered y'all, I always knew you, but I encountered y'all, when I say y'all, I mean your little mob and shit. I encountered y'all in like 93 when I came home from Vision Quest. Y'all was taking shit, y'all was jacking and shit like that. Y'all hadn't, and me neither, I hadn't all the way inserted myself in the drug game yet. So back then, we kind of like did whatever we had to do to get some money and hopefully get next to a drug boy and get something going. But
by any
criminally, how did you end up getting into the streets? Like,
my first encounter, I liked it. I got with a little crew, used to breaking houses. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing. You know what I mean? We got so vicious. But I can remember a time where, we didn't care. We would peep through a window, see people sleep. We still gonna cut that screen. We going in there. You know what I'm saying? People wake up chasing us out the house. You know what I'm saying? I never forget a house we broke in. Got my first car, my first pistol. I remember that.
Okay.
Also, matter of fact, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. Before that, I was into stealing cars. That was my thing. I was a 3-man crew. I don't want to go into names and all that, but 2 other friends of mine, we used to have this park, we still do here in Erie, Pennsylvania, Waldemere Park. And Amusement Park, right. And it used to be so far from the hood, you know what I'm saying? You always got a ride there, but it was always hard to get a ride back.
I never getting dropped off out there. Yeah. Get out there by all costs.
Yep.
Fuck how we gonna get home. We get home.
You better believe it. And so, you know what I mean? A friend of ours introduced us how to break in them steering wheel columns, the Mobb Buicks. Yeah. They don't make them no more, so that's why it's real hard to take them. We was taking cars, man, And with that, you know what I'm saying, came a lot of lifestyle, because now we can travel, and now we pulling up to school with these cars. And so now females seeing that, you know, that gravitated the females towards us more and more. So we just kept stealing cars. And after that, I said we didn't really have no chop shops here in Erie, so we didn't really know about taking them to Cleveland and Buffalo and whatever, yada yada. So, you know, we skipped that. Clothes became our fashion, and like I said, breaking into houses, you know, we'll go under the beds, get a shoe box full of cash. So first thing we do, go buy some gear, you know what I'm saying? And it just all started from there.
Was that for real? I know the area that y'all was working in, 38th and up, 38th Street and beyond. Yep. Very wealthy neighborhood.
For sure.
Is it true that people really was keeping large sums of cash in their houses?
Yeah. For sure, definitely. We especially our specialty was Christmas time. You know what I'm saying, man? We got so vicious where we'll break in the house, we'll take the presents. We still in presents, you know what I'm saying? We pass amongst each other, see who get what. But yeah, it used to be a lot of houses, man. You would go under beds, man, shoe boxes full of cash, coat closets, closets with coats full of money. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a come up. And from there, we'll go to the hood, you know what I mean? Do what we need to do, go buy candy, you know, stuff like that.
I used to encounter y'all in the hood selling whatever y'all took. Y'all niggas used to be running around with backpacks and screwdrivers and tools and shit. And
yeah.
I remember y'all coming through, and I believe selling hammers. That's how I got hip to what y'all was doing. I heard y'all had pistols and shit.
Yeah.
All right. Can you recall a certain lick that was a big lick? Really put you on your way and shit. I want you to share with them because I was robbing too at the time. I want you to share. I wasn't on a burglary shit like that.
Right.
I want you to share with them the objective of these robberies. We was robbing to get items to take to the drug boys who had crack.
Right.
That was the ultimate goal.
Right.
To get there.
Yeah.
We wasn't robbing by choice, but go ahead and tell them the objective. Tell them this, you know, how the procession.
What it was, we would see the older guys, you know what I'm saying, and you know, you would get next to a certain OG or whatever, and some may throw you off, you know, get you put on, you know what I'm saying. But after time, you know, after a while, you know, we wild and young, so we wasn't stacking our money like that. We wasn't on that. We was quick to get it, quick to spend it. You know what I mean? That's what it was. So after a while, you know, the OGs telling us ain't no more freebies. You got to get on the block on your own, which I respect that because that made me learn more. You know what I'm saying? Streetwise, I mean. And so we would, you know, take stuff, get the money by which we would call double ups at the time. You know what I mean? To get back on. You know what I mean? We would have stereo systems. Or another big thing was car systems. A lot of older OGs with the big cars and systems. They, you know, big speakers, whatever. They love the systems. That was a thing. They wanted amps. They want the biggest boom, the biggest amp for the biggest boom. So that became a number one objective that everybody wanted the most. A lot of stereo systems. Definitely that was a big thing.
Once you got the amps, the 18s, the 12s, whatever, how did you go about getting them off?
Man, we had cribs where we just would put stuff, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, certain locations only certain people knew out of my crew, you know what I mean? It would be certain individuals that you can go to for specific things. Me, my thing was the gun thing. I love the guns, man. That was my thing still to this day. I ain't going in front. That was my thing. Another friend of mine, which will, you know, no names, like I said before, he was the stereo guy. You can get speakers from him. You can get a car system from this individual, and you can get amps. You know what I'm saying? So that just became an everyday norm. I mean, it got so overwhelming. We just fell out of school. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have time for school no more. The streets became the school because we learned so much more from the streets than we would learn in school. And everything we would learn in school never applied to the street. So it's like we learn more from street hustlers on the corner to what we know now. And it, you know, it's just how it became.
Now, what I seen happen with you was 1 minute you was a DJ, and the next minute you was just doing a bunch of shit. Like, I wasn't seeing you, I was hearing about y'all. Like, nobody could keep up with y'all. Niggas is trying to rob y'all too. Let's just say it, man. You niggas is known for having exotic pistols with scopes and all of that type of shit. So we couldn't keep up with, I couldn't keep up with you all like that. But I was getting in trouble with the law at the time, so I was in the courthouse a lot.
Right.
And you would hear what's going on with certain people. You could look in the office and you could look on this. They used to have a sheet in the office, and it would tell you everybody that was in detention at the detention center, Edmund L. Thomas. It would tell you who was all up there. And, you know, I started to see that you disappeared from the streets and went to the system.
Right.
How much time did you serve as a juvenile?
I would say about a total of well, let's just say from one of my jokes, that's what we call it. The robbery was a joke. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so they start piling up. And
was this a fingerprint situation?
Yeah, fingerprint. Cameras, the house cameras wasn't even in effect back then.
Right.
So, you know, it was much easier. Then you would have certain people who, you know, who didn't like, who let's say the words, in other words, let's say hated on stuff we used to do. So they used to give our names to the, you know, the juvenile system. And we had this judge named Judge Anthony. He was the worst of the worst. Right. He used to hate me. Hate me to the fact that they gave me an illegal sentence, man. And I'll never forget it. He gave me, what was it?
Indefinite?
Yeah, indefinite. Yeah. He gave me that for like 6 robberies that I did. And, you know.
Explain to them what indefinite is,
Indefinite is to you go in and you don't come out to 21.
It's basically until they tell you to go home, but they can keep you up to 21.
Till you're 21, yeah. Right. They gave me that. They gave me that, and I went to, for one of my charges, like I can't remember what specific charge, but I had like 6 of them. So he gave me indefinite, Judge Anthony. First they sent me to Edmund L. Thomas. That's like, we would say, a whole, the county here, for juvenile.
County jail for juvenile.
Yeah,
right.
And I did a little time there. Shout out to Edmund L. Thomas too.
Shit was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Right. The Rev eating the eggs and shit and all that. Anyway, so they sent me to, I had the option to go to Vision Quest. I think it was either Vision Quest or Ocean Quest. I refused to go there. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to do the TPs. I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, now mind you, I'm still young. So, you know, I didn't know nothing about being locked up. But, you know, going through what I had to go through, I had to figure out the hard way. But anyway, they sent me to Glen Mills. I was in Glen Mills. That's in Conkerville, Pennsylvania.
Notorious school.
Very, very.
And I heard you got your ass whipped up there.
I did
hear that. That was circulating through the system. But go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, they mobbed me up there. It wasn't the inmate. You know, the inmates. It was the staff. Like, it's a real strict code up there, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's real discipline. Now that I look back on it, it was a lot of discipline instilled in me. A lot of features that I hold today.
I hear a lot of adults who went through the mills say that they fucked up the opportunity. Frank Beeson, he was like, man, they had every educational trade, everything, all of that shit. Like,
they was
right
number.
He said you could have set your life, Millie. He said you could have set your life up right there. He said they were sending everybody to college, no questions asked. They had a college for you. Facts. He said it just involved some discipline. That's what he said. But go ahead, tell them about these disciplines at Glen Mills.
Discipline, man, it teach you that, like, the smallest things is the most important things, and definitely in building character. You know what I mean? Like this may not seem much, but I learned, you know, when you walking, keep your eyes straight, be focused, no spitting on the sidewalks. You know what I'm saying? That's not
civilized.
Yeah, not civilized. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to, you know, just just a lot of things, man. Just a lot of things that build character. But it's definitely a good program, man. They put you, like you said, they put you through sports. Matter of fact, they had the #1 in all sports. Yeah. Basketball, football, wrestling. So they had everything up there. Why
didn't you assimilate with the what they call the student body and participate in sports? Like your stay up there wasn't like that.
Well, because I was still fresh off the street, still fresh to it. What they used to call me was streety. They still said I was real streety. And what they mean by that I still had a lot of street mannerisms, opposed to the people who were already there, been in the program longer than I was. So a lot of people would or if they get out of line or do something wrong, what's called touch for attention. That's when the staff will grip you up, beat you down, shake you down a little something. And you know me, I'm still street, I'm still wild. I thought that was funny. You know what I'm saying? And so, you think and they see you laughing.
Oh, you seen them touching somebody else?
Oh, plenty.
You start laughing.
I start laughing, you know what I'm saying? And when you get caught laughing, the same thing happened to you. You know what I'm saying? What it happened to me. But it's just like, man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. I'm still gonna do me. I'm still in the street, fresh to the system. I only got 18 months, this and that. But it got real drastic for me because I wasn't learning the program. And me being from Erie, Pennsylvania, and the program was by Philadelphia, we would have home passes. And home passes would be they used to do us Erie guys a little different than they would do Philly. Like Philly, they favored Philly guys more because it's closer and it was more of them. So they would let them go home for home passes every 2 weeks, opposed to Erie, they would let us go like once a month. I wasn't having that. So I'll never forget the day, I swear on everything. The day when O.J. Simpson was in that white Rango, that's the day I ran. Jumped out the window. Gone.
Do you remember the O.J. being on TV in the Rango?
Yeah, we was watching it on TV in this little area called Townhouse. Yeah. Me and this guy, rest pieces so I can say his name, Tommy Seiler. We sat and he's like, man, he was getting touched for attention too. So we figured, man, we ain't having this no more. So we watching everybody in Townhouse, COs, the guards, whatever you want to call them, they doing their thing. We decided it was a bathroom break. We jumped out the window. Boom. We out of there.
Tell me what that was like running off them people's property, because that's a big campus. And they're coming and you know what's going to happen. So tell me what that run was like.
Man, it was a lot of adrenaline, but once you jump out that window, that's it. You might as well go ahead and go, because you're going to get the same punishment. It was just wild, right, man. And we ran, and it was real dark, probably like 9 something at night. Me having my specialty of stealing cars, we ran on the car a lot. I stole a car. I never forget this either. Whoever car was, that was on this lot, that's when Above the Rim soundtrack was out. We was bumping that.
Yeah,
but
Above the Rim.
Above the Rim on cassette. It was cassettes back then.
Right.
And we riding. And when you was in Glen Mills, you were allowed to keep cash on you. Just so happened I had $5 cash on me. Being as though we didn't know where we was, we just kids at the time. We going the wrong way, end up going to Delaware. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you had to go through the toll. Toll was $250. Yeah. $250 in, went the wrong way, $250 out. Now we broke now. Now we broke, you know what I'm saying? So now we get to North Philly. Right. We're in North Philly because my homie at the time, Tommy Seiler, he's in North Philly. We was on 11th and Diamond. Never forget that. We was on 11th and Diamond. And we just ride, and next thing you know, it's still nighttime. We went to his people's house, whatever. So like my whole thing with leaving with this person was because he showed me the dream is that he would get me back home. And come to find out, a lot of people in jail be riffing, saying what it is and this and that, and everything he told me wasn't cracked up to be what what he said. So
you stuck in Philly.
Yeah, we stuck in Philly, but I'm having a good time though. We out buying Italian ices on the corner. We late night. We still got the, when you in Glen Mills, you have a sweatsuit called, and on the sweatsuit it said the Battling Bull. Battling Bull, yeah, that's it.
Fly too, with the hood.
Yeah, we had them. Our hair was all out, so the homies on the block knew we ran. They knew that, but they showing us love. Yeah. So long story short, man, the next day we riding, bumping that Pain Tupac joint off the Above the Rim soundtrack. I think it was Pain. Yeah. So next thing you know, I look in my rear view. Man, the police cars out in Philly was white. You know what I'm saying? Man, about 6 of them shits behind us, man. So we jump out. Now, me being a street guy, you know what I'm saying, I didn't care, you know, because so much love was being shown the homies on the block. But mind you, I'm from Erie. And my friend, he's from North Philly. But I don't know where I'm going. Yeah. We go separate ways. Yeah, but I'm so fast, though, he get caught, but I run, duck off, and fall under a car, roll up under the car. Right. I see my man getting pulled off. They caught him. Right. Now I'm in North Philly by myself now. Right. I don't know how I ended up where I was at, but I ended up in the Badlands. Right. By myself, walking around with an afro. It's nothing but Spanish people down here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't known down there, you shouldn't be down there. So this, you know what I'm saying, long story short, I got to talking to a couple people, let them know, and I ran from there, so they let me use their phone. So now I'm calling home, I'm calling my mom. My mom like, I ain't coming to get you. You shouldn't have ran. You shouldn't have left. Right. Which, you know, I was bitter about it at the time, but I understood it was just motherly love, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? She didn't.
You'd have been implicated during the crime as well. Shit.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so nobody in the family would come get me, man. I'm trying to think of somebody send me a bus ticket. Nobody would do that. So I didn't want to, you know, be in Philly upstairs. I'm a young boy, you know what I'm saying? Right. I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't know how to, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to really survive, like, you know, when it comes to eating and stuff. I can't rob and do the shit that I was doing in Erie because I'm in a whole different element. And Erie, and you know, it's all, everywhere's the same, but some is a little different. So right. I had to learn on my own. So what I just ended up doing, man, I just called the place back. I called Glen Mills like, yo, I'm on such and such street. They told me don't move. We'll be there to come get you. Right. And boy, when they came and got me.
They pulled up in a van.
In the van with the whole unit. The whole unit that I was in was called Taylor Hall. It's like 20 of us something.
The students and all?
The students and all. Because reason why they bring the students, because when you run, they have this thing called green light, which means all the students, including the staff, can chase your ass down. When they catch you, they can hold you and do what they want to do to you. So right. They had my whole unit in there. So we ride on the van. So staff beat me down like brutally, you know what I'm saying?
Hopped on you in the van?
Immediately. Yeah. I'm riding on the highway. We run on the highway. It's cars riding by. I remember this little white girl, right? Riding on the side of us, man. Dude, the CO had my head, banging my head off the window. Little girl pointing like, look. Yeah. I'll never forget that, man. And like that brought a lot of hate in me, a lot of anger, you know what I'm saying, towards authority more and more. Right. And so when I got back to the program that night, you know what I'm saying, they kept asking me why I run. I said I didn't want to be here. And what they made me do, they made me stand up in the corner with my nose on this beam, this high beam, and made me stay up 24/7. They wouldn't let me go to sleep. Cause I told them, so when y'all put me back in this room, I'm out. They made me stay up. With my nose against the wall. 24 hours won't let me go to sleep till we had town hall the next morning. Town hall was when the different counselors and stuff come in. They go over the program, what we gonna do for the day, this, that, and the other. And about probably like 10 o'clock that morning, they called me to the office. Said we, you know what I mean, my last name, my government. They told me you got your wish. They put me back on the airplane, sent me back here to Erie, put me in back in M&L Thomas. I had to go back in front of Judge Anthony, and then that's when it got real. Then they sent me to Newcastle YDC. That's gladiator school right there. Right. Yeah, I did 18 months in that joint.
All right, so you ended up in, oh man, I forgot about the Newcastle.
Newcastle vicious, man.
Tell my listeners what Newcastle was like.
Newcastle was gladiator school.
Mind you, it already had a huge reputation before you get there.
Yeah, gladiator school, man. You got what they would call as inmates, rather, all the way up from the ages of 14 to 21-year-olds up there, because they had indefinites too. So yeah, my first day walking in there, you know what I'm saying? I was in unit 6C. Never forget that. You know what I'm saying? My memory is impeccable, man. I remember a lot. And so I remember this dude named from Philly, named Moneyhead. Never forget this guy. Money head.
Dark-skinned.
Dark-skinned, yeah.
head.
Big ass head.
He's a vision
Yeah.
coach.
Money head.
Chris Lee,
Yeah, money head, man. That's wild.
Damn. Go ahead.
Money head.
Go ahead.
And that's where I met Odell, the rapper, Odell.
That's
where I met Odell at.
Up at Newcastle.
At Newcastle. That was my man. And that's when I got on Biggie. But we'll get to that.
Nah, watch, because all the Philly boys, they was gone on Biggie.
Love him. Cool G sweaters and shit, because you could wear your own clothes up there.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I learned. That's when my fashion got real good.
They was up there in the Coogis?
Yes, indeed.
Philly?
Yeah. There was the robbing banks and all that. That was his thing.
Yeah.
That was my guy, man. That was my guy. But yeah, shout out to him, man. Odell, man. Epps, man, that's my guy. But yeah, back to the story. Odell, not Odell, but Moneyhead, man. I guess he was the, one of the pawns, you know what I'm saying, for when the new guys come in. So, you know what I mean? I'm coming in like around 3 o'clock. I remember sitting in this little room, they get my clothes together. I'm watching Ricky Lake. That's what Ricky Lake was in. We watched Ricky Lake and all that. And they hand out these donuts like right after as a little snack. So I'm in my little room. And I hear punk ass eerie nigga. This like the first hour I'm there.
Yeah.
They sent Moneyhead at me.
Yeah.
Had to get it in to show who you know what I'm saying. But once you did that, you know what I mean. You show you wasn't scared or nothing.
He came to you from the door.
From the door.
About the cookies.
Wanted to take my donuts, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Wanted to take my donuts, cookie, whatever. I can't remember what I said, but yeah. And I guess he tried me. That's what they do in the juvenile system, and they separate the men from the mice, man, from the door.
Right.
And your first impression is your best impression, man. You show any sign of weakness, you done. You food from the gate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm only 5'4", so I probably was 5'2" back then. But Moneyhead was short too, though.
Yeah.
We was the same size. You know what I'm saying? So, that's when this shit got real, man. But you know what I'm saying? It was more. It was more prison type setting opposed to Glen Mills. So I sort of fitted in better at YDC Youth Development Center, which is in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Right.
I wasn't allowed to leave there until I got my GED. I was sentenced indefinite, but I got my GED, which was in 1995. I got it.
What type of students was up there? I mean, residents was.
Yeah, a lot of Philly, a lot of Pittsburgh, little Scranton. Also, we had females. We had females up there, man. We was fucking and everything. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't in the units with us, but they would be in the class in school with us. You know what I'm saying? And so, I remember this Puerto Rican girl, man. That's my first Puerto Rican girl encounter, man. Name was Bougie, bad as hell. I'll never forget her, man. And we used to do our little thing up there. I know it's crazy to say, but I had a good time up there. I came in front, man.
Juvenile joints was fun.
I came in front. I came front. Not to glorify, but it was fun, man. I met a lot of people, man. So see, the thing with the prison system, you meet a lot of good people most of the time. You meet a lot of more good people in prison than you do on the streets.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then you get close to them. But no matter how, which way, whether positive, negative, whatever, and you meet a lot of good people, man, and then you'll get a newspaper when it was relevant or whatever, and then these people die. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot like in the bigger cities, man. You lose a lot of friends, good friends, man.
Yeah,
and they don't come like that, yeah, because like it's a bigger death rate in the bigger cities than here in Erie where we stay, because it's a bigger place. But things change as it has now. But yeah, man, it was a rough stop, man. Rough stop.
So encounter Philly in Newcastle, what did that do to your criminal mind? Like, what did that do to your mind?
It put a lot. Well, I'm gonna say this, because I was younger then. Mm-hmm. It put a lot of hatred for certain areas of Pennsylvania, because a big thing up there was, if you're from Erie and Pittsburgh, since we so close,
yeah,
the Philly guys didn't like us. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of, oh yeah, I forgot. There was a big riot up there. Pennsylvania, Erie, Pittsburgh against Philly. So we had to look up. We had to come together, man. It was a major riot up there, and it just seemed like in a system. It's all.
Explain to them the pressure that lead to shit like that. Why, when you're doing time with Philly, like you sometimes you can't even diffuse it because they be applying so much pressure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas Pittsburgh guys, they don't really bother people and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They're more laid back.
And Philly is so many of them that you're gonna have
right
knuckleheads.
Right. They at the time they were more, to me at that time they were more flamboyant. You know what I'm saying? You know, pretty boys. We were really into the brushing your hair 24/7, the polo shirts with the collars up. You know what I'm saying? You know, with the Reeboks and the cuffs laced up. Like we wasn't into that. We was in a whole different climate. So you know what I mean? To them, they was better than us. That's what they thought. You know what I'm saying?
As this is what it is, not since because you just put it into words. You said they was on some fly shit.
Yeah. For sure.
Niggas brushing their hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really in tune with the shit that they wearing. We was on some
braids and all that.
At the time, niggas was wearing braids, Dickies and Timbs and shit like that. Right. So a goddess rocking teddy bears and shit like that. They looking at us like, man, these niggas is bugging and shit. Yeah. It was just a culture difference.
Right.
But we're Western Pennsylvania listened to a lot of West Coast music.
Yeah.
And it kind of shaped everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, you know, only certain people gravitated towards the East Coast music and shit like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But go ahead with your story about the Philly situation with the riot. We'll go on with the story.
Yeah, we was in the gym, and a good friend of mine from Pittsburgh, man, may he rest in peace, had him up here a few times. My man Pooter, good dude, man. He was from Homewood. Homewood's notorious in Pittsburgh, very notorious. He had a like a vendetta against this other individual. I can't remember his name. I just remember his last name being Spencer. They used to always bump heads, you know what I'm saying? And you could see it. You could see it like the fire was building up. And no matter if you was cool with this guy from Pittsburgh, no matter what, when it's time to go down, when it's Erie and Pittsburgh against Philly, it's on. Ain't no ifs, ands, or maybe, because if you don't, you're gonna get crushed by your own crew. And so I just remember they was playing basketball and it was a hard foul, man, and that foul just turned it into a all-out war, man. I got involved a little bit. I did time in the Clue. What Clue means seclusion in the juvenile system. I did like 30 days in the Clue. They had the whole place locked down, man. And they had us locked down for probably like 6 months because it was so much tension. It was so much tension. They was scared for something else to go down. And it was more inmates than staff. Staff was getting knocked out. So it was nothing they could do. Matter of fact, they brought in the state police to confuse the problem because it was that bad, man. Now, back then, it wasn't no shanks and all. We wasn't shanking and all that. But, you know, we would put the batteries in the salt and crack you with that, shit like that. And it was just wild, man. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it.
All right. When you returned to society, what year?
I came out 95, boom. It was booming up here.
All right. What was Erie like in 1995 when you came home?
Oh man, a whole culture shock to me. Man, different. A lot of my friends, they was up. What I mean by up, they was in a different bracket of getting money now. Ain't no more stealing cars, no more. That's when you know, I wasn't introduced to crack then. I understood what it was. But now a lot of my friends are selling it. Now they got cars now. You know, they got the jewels now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, young boys, people my age, you know, I was young. I was 17 when I got out. No, I was 16 or 17 when I came home. I'm not sure. Can't remember. But right away, I wanted to be on board right away. I couldn't stand, you know what I'm saying? And now it's different. So the same guys I used to be with who was trying to be up under the old heads, they my age bracket. So now They put me on me. Welcome home. Here a package. Here it is. Here that. You know, a startup kit. You know what I'm saying? You know, the music different. The clothes style is different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just didn't happen when I came out. It was already going on when I was in.
Turning to the East Coast.
Yeah, turning to the East Coast. A lot of
Cool G's is in the hood.
A lot of cool, yeah.
The Biggie.
Cool G's, Polo now. Polo was a thing. Let's just everything, man. It was a whole change. So, like from day one, I wanted in. If it was a Nickelback song in the park, I wanted in. Right. Period. You know what I mean? So, and it was time to get rolling. I had an uncle, another one of my uncles. He was down. He was down at the time. I used to emulate him when I was coming up, but now, mind you, I'm coming out.
You can explain who your uncle was to the neighborhood. Like, you kind of like, I don't want you to suppress who he is and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could talk about him and shit. You know
Hot box.
I want them to understand, like, your uncle wasn't a regular person.
Right.
I mean? But go ahead.
Yeah, my uncle, we call him Hot Box. The reason why we call him that is because 2 reasons. Back, you know, when hip hop was out, Fat Boys, you had Buffy, the human beatbox. My uncle was a crazy beatbox. He'd make any beat you could think of. And then he also had the High Top Fade, the box. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we put that together. Yeah, he was different. He was different, man. Different guy. He was ahead of his time, I would say. A bit ahead of his time to me, in my perspective. Sure. I learned for pretty much, I would say about 95% of everything that I do, the way I walk, it comes from him. All right. That's my mother's youngest brother.
All right, boom. So you say you come home in 95, you doing your thing, and how does he serving a stretch?
Serving a stretch, 8.5. He did 8 to 16 years he was doing at that time.
Okay.
For sure.
So, 95, man. Who, you know, you got your wheel and shit. I used to, we used to trade cars and shit like that. You got your wheel, you got jewels, everything. Right. Tell me where the Esco persona came in and how it affected your life after that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Where I get Esco from, I'm a big pillar in hip hop, man. I love hip hop from day one. My favorite rapper was Nas, right? And so I would play nothing but Nas. And so, due time, Nas took on the moniker as Escobar. I didn't even know who Escobar was, the real Escobar. I'm just going off of Nas. I didn't care who that nigga, who real Escobar was. I didn't care. I'm going off of Nas, man. So I just emulated Nas, man. He was fly the way, you know what I mean? Cool dude, man. And so then I did
chilling fly.
Yeah. Oh my God, his music, man. Like everything Nas would come out with, I was on it. So I wanted to be Nas, not being in the same bracket and stuff he was rapping about, but I was emulating a lot, trying. So, you know what I'm saying? He became Nas Esco, and I became Age Esco, you know what I'm saying? Right. Even got it tattooed on my neck, you know what I'm saying? Because I at the time, like, I thought I was living the lifestyle.
I believe we all did.
Yeah.
I believe we all did.
Yeah, we tried emulating.
I want you to explain to them how listening to their music, growing up with their music, Nas, the Mobb Deep, and Only Built for Cuban Links, which was out in 95, how that affected us. We would kind of like listen to that shit and absorb it and take it all to the block. And the first thing was we literally trying to dress like a song. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? Like, and how it was, how this aspect triggered us to go on that block and get some money, because we trying to keep up with these pictures in these magazines and shit like that. But go ahead.
I just watched, man. For me, it was like college to me. It became college, secondhand school, like, you know what I'm saying? because like you just said, everything they talked about, the walk, the talk, the dress, and we seen that's what from what they was saying and from what they was doing, that brought the females, and so we wanted to do everything they wanted. You know what I'm saying? Not to copy like exact like them, but to be us in our own image. You know what I mean? So like you said, the built for Cuban links. So we started rocking the Cuban links. Plus, having a Cuban link was a sign of statue. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? If you got this Cuban link, that means you get money.
Right.
So we would try, we go out our means to do that. The clothes, the cars, man. Like music emulates life, period. And it puts a certain feeling in you, and it just make you feel good, man. And with that, you want to be it. You know what I'm saying? So because if we figure this person does this from this song, whoever the artist of this song, if we do the same thing or something like it, the good fruits of life will come with it.
Right.
So that's what we was on, man, and that's just what it was like. But you know what a lot of that come a lot of negative too. But we don't care about that at the time. You know what I'm saying? We want to be fly, man, and go to the parties, had a flash car, pull up with the loudest system, because that's where all attention gonna go.
Right.
Like in the hood, you want to be the one who stand out. You know what I mean? Certain people. That's what we wanted to do.
Now, while all of this is going on, summer '95, leading up to you got out '95, boom, you get on. Your uncle is released from prison.
Yeah.
Tell me how that affects your life story. Because this is before, when he was home, he was your uncle and you were a kid.
True story what I'm about to tell you right here.
But now you're an adult.
Right.
So go ahead.
We're gonna skip a little bit. Right before he got out. Before he got out, I was.
We're gonna abbreviate this and start over. I mean, yeah.